Welcome. My name is Catherine. This is going to be part 2 of showing records from Laurie's collection. The records I'm going to show today are from the 1960s and 70s. And one of these records I had never heard of before. But I looked on the internet and I was able to find just a little bit of something. It's almost like they're forgotten. So this is going to be the 4th record show. So the first record is Jim Croce's Don't Mess Around with Jim. So this was released on April 1st of 1972, and it's on ABC Records, and it's his 4th studio album. So I'll show you the record. It's in somewhat good condition, or I'd say G-. There are a few scratches, but it actually plays and doesn't skip. So I'm glad it doesn't skip because I really like this record. So there's 3 singles that were released from this record. The first one is the title track, Don't Mess Around with Jim. It was released July of 1972. The second single is Operator, in parentheses, That's Not the Way It Feels. It was released October of 72. And then there's a delayed release of the third single, Time in a Bottle. It was released in November of 1973, the following year. And that's because, as we may know, he died in a plane crash with his band members. And this was a very tragic event since he was just starting to get famous and successful. So other great songs on this record, I like track 2, Tomorrow's Gonna Be a Brighter Day. Track 3, New York Is Not My Home. He was born and raised in Philadelphia and went to New York to pursue a music career, and he really didn't like the big city life. Number 4 track is Hard Time Losing Man. And number 10, Boxcar Number 10. Tracks 11 and 12, A Long Time Ago and Hey Tomorrow. And I really like this album. I'll hold it up again. And as you can see, it looks like she tried to sell them at a garage sale, and there's a $5 Sharpie mark. I may in the future try to get a better copy of this because I really enjoy this album. So I also have his 5th studio album, the follow-up. It's called I Got a Name, and it was released December of 1973 after he died. And this is his last and final album. It's the 5th. So the title track is the first single, I Got a Name, released September of 73. Number 2, I Have to Say I Love You in a Song, was in March of 74, and Working at the Car Wash Blues. This was released in June of 74. Other great songs on here, track number 10 is called Recently, and number 11, The Hard Way Every Time. I like the string arrangement on this track. So I'm glad to have these 2 Jim Croce albums. Album number 3 is Aretha Arrives. Has this hype sticker with the single on there. This was released August 4th of 1967, and it's on Atlantic Records. And I'll show you the record. So the hit single released off here is called Baby I Love You, released July of 1967. And it went to number 1 on the R&B charts and number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. And track number 1 on here is Satisfaction, which is a cover of the Rolling Stones songs. So here's the track listing. So overall, I really like her vocals on this album. And I'm going to keep this record because it's the first record I have by Aretha Franklin. So album number 4, This is the one I said I didn't know what it was. It's called The Pair Extraordinaire Live from 1966. And on the back is some information about it. So their names, this man here in front, his name is Carl Craig. He's the lead singer. And the man in the back is Mark Hemphill. He plays the bass and he has baritone harmony vocals. So the first thing I did was do an internet search. And what I got, all I got was an overview. It said they started in 1965 and had their names. So the next thing I did was I went on Discogs and I found out that they had 4 studio albums. And then I went on YouTube and just did a search, and a few videos popped up. But the most interesting video was on a channel called Bill A. So it's capital A and lowercase a. And on his thumbnail it said for research purposes. And that plays through the whole video. That text is on there. And the song is called The In Crowd. So I'll leave a link in the description of that video if you want to watch it. And what he was trying to do is collect some information from people commenting. And that's where I got some information about this record. The first comment was, Marcus Hemphill, the bass player, was my drama teacher. I saw these guys live about 45 years ago in Philadelphia. They opened for Bill Cosby. And I saw, another comment was, I saw them in 1964. They opened for Dick Gregory. So they probably were a club act back in the 60s. And there is some comedy between the songs, but the style of this is jazz and soul. And I just think it's a unique record. I feel like it's a little bit forgotten. So if you know anything about this record or remember this group, please share this in the comments. And I'll show you the record. It's on the Liberty label. And the condition is fairly good. Yeah, there's no scratches on this record and it plays really nicely. And I was surprised to find out it isn't a dollar record. It's about, you know, for the low end it was 5 and then 10 for median, and then the high was 15. So it does have maybe just a little bit of value. Album number 5. This is a copy of Lynn Anderson Rose Garden. It still has the shrink wrap on it and the hype sticker and a price tag. This was released December 26th of 1970 and it's on the Columbia Nashville label. And I would say this is VG. So I'll show you the record. So it's on the red Columbia label. So the big hit on here was the title track, Rose Garden. And it went to, the album went to #1 quite quickly in about, let's see, 5 weeks. It rose from its release date to the #1 spot on the country charts, the album charts. And then it went to #3 on the Billboard Hot 100. And it became an international hit, top 5 in several countries. And Lynn Anderson won a Grammy Award. She won for Best Female Country Vocal Performance. And there's a couple songs that are noteworthy on here. Track 2, For the Good Times, and track 7, Sunday Morning Coming Down. Both of these songs were written by Chris Christopherson. And another song I like on here is Snowbird. This was written by Gene McKellen, and Anne Murray recorded it in 1969, and her version was the one that became popular. It went to #1 on the Billboard charts. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this. I find that most of the songs are heartbreak songs. Either she's had her heart broken and been left for someone else, or being with the wrong person and being miserable. So the songwriting doesn't really resonate with me. So I think I'm going to give this one to the record store. Album number 6, We Must Believe in Magic, the 4th studio album by country artist Crystal Gayle. And here's the back. And this was released June 24th of 1977, and it's on the United Artists label. And I'll show you the record. It has the original sleeve. Has quite a pretty label there. So this became her highest selling album. It went to number 2 on the Billboard Country Album charts and number 12 on the main Billboard chart in the United States. And the big hit single on here was Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue, which went number 1 on the country charts and number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Other songs that I like on here: track number 3 is called River Road. Number 8, Green Door. It has a nice honky-tonk piano melody. And the 10th track, title track, We Must Believe in Magic, is an inspirational song. And I am going to keep this one. I really like Crystal Gayle's voice. The 7th and final album I'm going to show today is Chicago 5. It's kind of a rough cover copy there. It's got some little tears in it. So this is their 4th studio album. It was released July 10th of 1972. And it's known for being their first single album because their previous albums were double LPs. So this contains the hit single Saturday in the Park. And it's one of my favorite Chicago songs. It reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. And the follow-up single was called Dialogue Part 1 and 2. This peaked at number 24 in the United States. The length of the album is 45 minutes and 15 seconds. And I'll show you the record. Condition of the record itself is VG. So will I keep this record? I'm still not sure. I mean, I really love that song, but it sounds mostly like a jam session and a lot of horns. I do have their compilation album, and I have a CD compilation as well, so I'm still thinking, haven't really decided whether I'm going to keep it. So these are the 7 records I'm showing today. Please share your thoughts and memories of any of these albums, especially that 4th one. And I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers and welcome. I appreciate the support from all my viewers and commenters. And I'll be showing more records from Laurie's collection. From this time forward, I'm just going to tell you which ones I'm going to keep and which ones I'm going to get rid of, because I definitely have to part with some of these. But there are some really good ones in here. So I'll see you in my next video. Take care.